What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what shorts did, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did pull back slightly, 1.47%. Kind of anticipated. It ran up quite a lot over the last little bit. So I think a pullback was somewhat needed. But at the same time, the whole finance sector just boomed. A lot of good companies unveiling very impressive earnings. Even Morgan Stanley went up 6.5% and it had a high of $121.13. So it was a kind of a weird day for SoFi, but out of anything, so leading up to today, you had shorts returning. And today they did a quick 180. But like I said, it pulled back slightly. Strong close, 47.6 million shares being traded, 44.9 is the average. So even though it did pull down, you had a lot of attention coming from large entities. So these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. Couple big ones, 1.3 million, 2.2. This large one, 14.8. Somehow you saw this selling leading up to the market close. So for whatever reason, institutions were selling there and right here. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting scenario. It is what it is. I don't think any of this is new to any SoFi investor. They're just kind of used to manipulation. But aside from that though, SoFi did put out news this morning. So SoFi Technologies to adopt Galileo's Cyberbank Core for a new commercial payment services sponsor banking program. So what made me kind of laugh a little bit was under Seeking Alpha, you see some of the comments related to some of the previous analysis. And this individual right here saying that it's kind of a good short and the difference between SoFi and Facebook is just the tech, and that they love when the bank gets bigger, the tech goes nowhere. Today's news really just gives a middle finger to this individual, so Robert NYC. So yeah, honestly, this is exactly what SoFi was somewhat lacking in last earnings. So they have more than enough to really talk on and how they can project the future and what this kind of Galileo and just so many developments. So yeah, I think this is going to be good for mitigating risk for SoFi, and it really puts it in perspective on how beneficial Galileo is, bigger picture. But when it comes to today, we did have some pretty good data. So exports a little bit higher than previously anticipated. So once again, showing that the economy is relatively strong overall. Shorts did increase though today, 611,000 shares, but 16.79% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 175.59 million shares. And so you can kind of see just shorts have been on a very positive trend, kind of returning up until today, which is very weird. Like I said, the whole finance sector did close 1.34% in the green. Everything was moving higher. So I don't know why shorts felt it necessary, if that makes sense, to increase their position. But at the same time, popping over to IBKR, I brought this up yesterday, but it's funny, the manipulation, right? So you always get some random individuals such as David just lowering their ratings. So it's been a while, good 2 months. So most likely he's going to wait up until SoFi has kick-ass earnings to reiterate his $4 target. But recently you did have Morgan Stanley, which like I just showed you had very kick-ass earnings. So why would they want SoFi to kind of piggyback off of the good momentum in the market? Why not give a $6 rating? It's very messed up if you kind of think about it. Even aside from that $4, like the last 3 ratings are absolutely dismal. So once again, maybe that's correlated to some actual manipulation, or maybe not. You guys do your own due diligence. But leading up to today, the Elliott Wave Technicals was projecting for it to get to around that 1040. And this was showing it as of October the 11th, so prior to any of this recent news. So like I said, I think the pullback was somewhat needed only because SoFi moved so fast up to this point right here. It got very overbought. So I think it was somewhat due for a little bit more of a pullback. Right now it is kind of flirting with that ALMA a little bit. So a lot going on with SoFi, but I think in general, one point to really watch for is this $9.62 to hold. Not saying it's going to go there tomorrow or anything, but if there is going to be consolidation in the next little bit, definitely it needs to stay above that in order for it to kind of stay in the double digits and whatever else. So yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts on what really happened today. Looking at options, 15 million in calls, 3.81 million in puts. So a fair amount of volume, not record numbers as what was over the last couple days, but still a good amount. 55% of all the options being done today were bearish. And of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus still for it to be above $11. So good amount of optimism. Flip side, looking at puts, more of a consensus for it to be sub $9 for this week and $9.50 possibly for next week. So yeah, it's kind of teetering, right? I think leading up to today, there was an overwhelming amount of optimism. Today seems to be somewhat even, if that makes sense. With today being Wednesday and leading into the next couple of trading days, this is what the open interest does look like. So you have 24,000 at the 8, 12,000 at the 8.50, 24,000 at the 9, and then of course the big ones to really watch for, which most likely SoFi is going to really kind of struggle with a little bit for this upcoming Friday. 30,000 at that 10, 23,000 at that 10.50, and then 21,000 at that 11. So if SoFi is able to close above $11 for whatever reason by this Friday, then this will be probably the highest open interest or in the money options this whole year or ever since I've covered SoFi. So this will be a good probably 20 to 25 mil in stock that does need to be covered by market makers. So it could get very real very fast. So maybe this is why shorts at the same time are trying to suppress it early on a Wednesday. So if that is the case, then anticipate shorts to most likely increase over the next couple trading days. Tomorrow retail sales is coming out, as well as initial jobless claims. That's kind of the only data points to really watch for this week. Everything else is just more linked to essentially companies unveiling their earnings, what they're giving for future guidance, and everything else. So let me know you guys' thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out. Did you buy? Did you sell? What did you guys do with SoFi? And have you guys been dabbling with options? So yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts. One thing I just wanted to share with you, I did launch my memberships with YouTube, a lot of different tiers. So if you're looking just to support the channel because you like the SoFi content, for instance, or you want buy signals on stocks or options, take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you guys watching.